G'day guys, gonna have a bit of a fun exercise today. We're going to work out how much it costs to produce a GPX 4500 or a 5000. Now, I've gone through all the components on the board. This is just as a bit of an exercise. There's been a lot of speculation over many years how much it actually costs to make one of these detectors. And I've got it worked out roughly. Now, the actual prices may vary a little bit because I've just used Mouser and DigiKey and AliExpress in some cases to get pricing on these chips. The real common ones are very, very cheap on AliExpress, and some of the harder to get ones, you have to get them through DigiKey or Mouser or Arrow or Avnet, one of those crowds. And I just had a quick look, and I think these big ICs here might be a little bit overpriced on my price list because I could only get the one-off price. These are on back order on just about every site. So we'll go through it anyway. I'll just give you an idea, and I'll give you the tally up, right? That thing there, one-off prices, runs at about $30. This thing here runs at about 15, and I would say in quantity you could probably get it down to about 25% of those prices. So it's just a yardstick. This is worst case scenario building a detector. Little IC there, about $5. Little watchdog thing there. I think that's a watchdog memory. Then we have to get onto. Now I've got to put my paperwork out here so I won't know what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a couple of FETs here. They're just control DC supply to the detector. If there's any problems, these won't turn on. And $1.50 each sort of prices. Another device. Where are you? Another MOSFET here. About $1.50 for that as well. You can get these cheaper in big quantities, but I'm just looking at it 10 off, 100 off price, somewhere around there. Okay, we're just looking at semiconductors for starters, and this component here, $1.50. Probably a little bit rich for that, but you know what I've got it down as. Like I say, it's just a rough go at this stuff here. Where are we? We're going along here. That one there, $1.50. 26 cents. 26 cents for that and that one each. Where are we now? I'm looking at my little sheet. We've got two nines. Whoops, 9 and 9 here, which are $1 each. Where are we? Oh, that's another 26 cents there. That one as well. I missed that one, didn't I? And also that one there is 26 cents worth as well. That one and that one, and those two. So you probably guess they're all the same chip. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. Where are we? 11. 11. These are all the same, and these come to 50 cents each. We all know what those are, don't we? We should do. Then we got a hell of an expensive chip somewhere here. Where are you? 10, 11. I think it might be this one here. There's one here, hiding here. I think that's about $2 down here, hiding behind those capacitors. The one on the end there, if you can see it. that thing. It's about $2. Uh, what else we got? Like I say, this is just a rough estimate of what these things are worth. Oh, okay, 13, 14. These are the MOSFETs that drive the pulses to the coil. You can get one of those for 50 cents, and the other one's about $2 because one does higher current than the other. So you know, when we haven't really hit anything super expensive except for these two here. So that's there. The only other ones that are expensive, the input stages here, that one and that one, those two chips. Get down a bit. There, oops, there and there. Depending where you buy them from, you can get them down, pushing it like hell in quantity, getting down to $4 each, but normally you'd be paying a lot more than that for these. You could get them for about maybe $10 each. They are a specialized, very low noise IC, both of those. Where do we go from here? We got to look at my little chart here and make sure it's that. Yep, between 16. No, I think from now on we have to go to the other side of the board. So go to this side of the board. It's got a few of my extra bits and pieces on it. It's got some extra capacitors tacked on around, and the capacitor sitting there, but we'll ignore that. Just like I say, this is just an exercise to work out how much we can make one of these for. So we're looking here. Okay. All these ones here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 50 cents each. I'm going to do this in a logical order, so it makes sense. The old, I've mentioned it a few times, that's an ADG 333, and you can get that for about $3.50. You could probably get it for less. It's a big spread in prices on these chips for some reason, and yeah, it's just what it is. This thing here, that's just the gate array type thing. What was it? That one, yeah, 50 cents. You can get it for less. 50 cents will do. That one there, $1.50. That's only 4093 or something. They're not worth anything much at all. What did I give it? I said $1.50. I can get those for probably about 15 to 25 cents each. They're not very expensive. We got some. Where are we here? 50 cents. And that one, 50 cents. All right, we're really racking up the total. Small one there, 50 cents. That one there, 50 cents. That one there, 50 cents. So not worth much. Not worth much really. You know, you got your there's a few little MOSFETs like these things here. You know, you also depends what you put in there. If you're using the old things that went in there, you can't get them anymore. They're basically gone out of production, but they were around about 50 or 60 cents each for these. That there's nothing special about it. That's just the IRF 214 or something. Top of my head, I don't know, 50 cents, dollar, something like that. You got some high-speed diodes here. They're about 25 cents each. That could be about 50 cents each. I'm talking very small quantities, not bulk quantities. And, there's some like ferrites. Flip around to the other side. You got your ferrites here, about $4 for your ferrites. I'm talking probably, 100 off prices. I did calculate out all the capacitors, the larger capacitors. These capacitors here, like the electrolytic ones, we come up to about $7 for these capacitors, and that's probably in 100 off lots. So nothing great there. Where else are we? Ferrites, diodes. I actually allowed $4 for all the diodes for rectification, back EMF. Got our MOSFET here, about $1.20 for that one. I did count up all the small surface mount capacitors and resistors, the 085s, 0402s, and whatever else was on the board, and averaging it, I came up with I think it was about just over 250 small components, small resistors and capacitors, and if they're standard 5% tolerance, they're not worth much. As the tolerance gets more, they're worth more. But even so, I sort of extrapolated and I went, well, we're going to allow 10 cents each for these. And in bulk, it's far cheaper than that, far cheaper. So overall, I allowed $25. So here's our totals. I've got my totals up here. Things like these connectors, they're probably worth, when I used to buy all this sort of stuff years and years ago and get in bulk, I was getting this stuff for 7 cents a piece. Maybe now it's 50 cents each. I haven't bought any of this stuff. This is just an opinion, right? It's a bit of a stab in the dark. We got a circuit board about that size, just to have it etched in quantity, about $8. Maybe a little bit different. It is, I think it's multi-layer. We'll allow $10. um, but like I say, it's only the track work. I'm not worried, and the board size and not put together or anything. Just the board, just the basic fiberglass board. We have some mylar strips. These which is out of view, of course. These things, the mylars, these, in big bulk quantities, you possibly looking maybe, I'd made in China, $1 is pushing it very high. I'd say you can probably get them for 50 cents. Depends how many you buy. If you put an order in for 10,000 of these, they'll be very, very cheap. If you put an order in for 100, the price goes up. It's just the way it is. Small board here. We're looking probably about $1. Components has an Atmel chip on it. It's not worth much. Just even the components on here, you allow probably allow $5, and the display itself. I know those displays were jerry rigged from something else, because I know the distributor that had those displays. Well, I got some of these displays for nothing, right? For samples, and I think to buy them, they're backlit. God, in bulk, $2.50. No, maybe more. So let's go calculate out the whole thing, right? What's it? Well, you get the plastic too. What's the plastic worth? Injection mold. Getting the dies done for the injection mold is expensive, but each piece of plastic as it comes out is not worth that much. Even if you allow a dollar each on these, yeah, but you'd have to, cost in the die, and that would be based on how many of these detectors were made. So you'd spread the cost of the die over, whatever, 50,000, 100,000 detectors. I don't know how many of these were made. Stickers, decals, not worth much, 50 cents, 80 cents a piece. So, we got the coils. We know we can get coils out of China for $15 US each in 1,000 off quantities. Stems, fiberglass stem. You think of a fishing rod. I did have some made up years and years ago, but the price will be different now. We could be allowing top part maybe $8, bottom section about $5 and $15 for a coil. So let me add all this up. Okay, so that's 87, 100, 113, 16, 17, 18, 118, 120, 125, 130, okay, 130 on that. Okay, caps all up. Now this is just my speculative guess that the whole detector parts wise would come in around about, and possibly a lot cheaper than, depending on the quantity, about 160 US dollars a piece to actually manufacture parts cost, right? Like I say, 160 US dollars parts cost to manufacture one of these detectors. Now, there's the assembly cost. How much does it cost to have these boards loaded with a pick and place machine? This is something I have not touched for many, 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 many years. But to load a board like this with the pick and place machine in quantity, it's not that expensive. The machines can do, God, 60 to 80,000 components per hour, and there's a cost of stencil, solder paste. You know, the machines are pretty good these days. They've all got vision systems. Anything's out of alignment, wrong way around, or anything, it picks it up really quick. You then got to cook the board in a nitrogen vapor phase oven, and then gets a coat of paint. It's a little bit of labour in it, but where's the labour being done? Is it being done in China, Malaysia? Is it being done here? Uh, Allowing for everything. I'm going to go right out here, and I'm going to say you can build the whole detector for about $200 US. That's probably allowing a lot of meat on the bone too. So maybe this detector it costs $200 US to put together, but that's not counting. First of all, we have a big outlay for injection molding. We have a big outlay for the research, the development, the engineering, the programming. What else? The field testing, running around. Probably has to be tested in different countries on different soil types. So there'll be a bit of jet setting around. So, when it all comes up to it, depends on the quantity of how many of these are made, to how cheap you can make it. But that's a fair assumption, I would say. That's very, very, very fair, because it's logical based on component cost within reason. And I have left a lot of fudge factor there. So, you can probably sort of work out the profitability on how many of these were sold, what the dealer margin is on these detectors, what the company got, running the costs over the production for how many of these were ever made, and you get an idea of the profit margins on these. So yeah. I thought it was an interesting endeavour. But over the years, I've seen all sorts of things. I've seen people say, "Oh yeah, they make it for $50 each," and I went, "Yeah, righto." No, it's not $50 each. And you know, uh, I've seen people say, "Oh, you make they're $400 each to make." No, it's not. It's nowhere near that. But you know, when you really look at this, there are some decent expensive parts. You know, that thing there and that thing there. Um, Actually, if anyone really knows what the bulk prices of these two are, give us a better idea. Um, I'll just go and get the part numbers for those. Uh, okay. Okay. The part numbers for the big square one is XC2C384TQ144. And the other one next to it is a HD64575F20V. So they're the two expensive ones, which I have got down as $30 and $15. And to me, it sounds a little bit high, but I can't get any real pricing information on those ICs. Maybe they're getting on the end of production cycle because they've been out there for a fair while. And obviously, there's newer stuff. If you have a look at in all the new Minelabs, they're using different chipsets totally, and a lot, probably a lot better than what these have in them. They're using Smart Fusion, I think it was. Um, all those little ball grid array devices. Not so little, lots of ins and outs on those. It's field programmable logic stuff. But yeah, that's these ones. So you can look at the parts count on one of these, and basically what the big chips cost. And you could all probably look at the newer detectors too, and you could extrapolate roughly how much it costs to make one of the newer detectors. I think uh, you know, I think there's probably maybe a little bit lesser componentry on the newer detectors because they're trying to do as much as they can in these. Well, not this, but in those smart fusion devices. Yeah. So that's a bit of a run on this. How much it costs to make a pulse induction detector? Well, this particular detector, and it, like I say, it's a bit of a rubbery figure. It's a bit of a guess because I don't definitively know the price points. I would say that on some of these components, I say, well, instead of buying one capacitor, I want 10,000 of that, 10,000 of that, or even 100,000 of this and 100,000 of that. The price is going to come way, way down. So, we could be even looking at 150 US dollars to make one of these detectors. And I'm just saying that not like each one can be made for that, because you have to take into account the development time, testing time, any dies or any of that type of machinery that needs to be made that has to be accounted for. Dies aren't cheap. The cheapest die I ever had made was $24,000, I think, and that was a long time ago. Um, the didn't actually take in the case. That the case is an alloy extrusion, and it's been machined off. That process, I had that done years and years ago, making heat sinks, and I had huge heat sinks made. But I'm going back 20 years, and I had heat sinks made. God, they're about as big as a board here, big, thick heat sinks, and we measured at 6-inch cut-offs, about this size with big fins on it, $2.50 a piece. So the extrusion on the actual case would not be that expensive. It's basically like extruding aluminium drain pipe. Uh, so you just hit it with a cut-off saw and put in how long you want it. It's not much material in it. Like you pick up one of these cases, it's a bit zoomed in at the moment anyway, so I'll zoom out. You know, the wall thickness isn't that great. There's not a lot of weight in it. It's not a lot of material, but aluminium has gone up in price from since when I was making heat sinks and getting heat sinks made. Uh, what does that cost? I don't know. How many crushed up Coke cans are in that? Um, how do you price it these days? I don't know. But I know in extrusion mold, the way they're made, they are not very expensive. And material-wise, I don't know. Even if you allowed, in China, something like that probably costs $5. Allow 10, which is probably too much for this sort of stuff in huge amounts. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm only guessing. I'm just guessing at that because I have not done any, um, extrusion or die work for many, many years. But electronic parts, we know what they cost, and roughly the cost of putting together. If it's made in China, these components, the big stuff here, will all be put in by hand, and you know, Chinese labour is not that expensive. You know, you could just say for each one, you know, add another hour, for each one, $10 or something. It's not great. So a lot could be done on each one in an hour of labour. Um, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting exercise anyway. We could look at the newer detectors. I've had all the detectors, the 7000s and the 6000. I've got detailed pictures of the circuit boards on those, so I could probably, if I really wanted to, do a part look and count on those as well, and see what they come up price wise to manufacture. Um, yeah, it's like I say, it's very interesting. You know, uh, you have a look at the 7000. It's still selling for what is it? I bought one second hand ages ago, but what's it new? It's worth a lot of money. So yeah, be an interesting manufactured cost to sell ratio there, I would say. Anyway, that's that. That's a 45. 5000 is basically the same. It's got a few extra bits and pieces on it. Actually, there's two versions I've noticed of 4500s. Uh, that I don't know what I really don't know. This is my speculative opinion that the later 4500s that were made um, were actually 5000 boards, I think, and they had the numbers rubbed off. And because it's exactly the same part count as the 5000, and the earlier 4500s were a little bit different. Uh, have I got one? That no, probably too hard to see because I've buried it in modifications. But that's very interesting indeed. Anyway, I thought that was an exercise that I've had people argue about that for years and years and years and years, and to carry on about it. And I thought, get it out of the way. Let's go and actually do the exercise and see. But if you think my pricing is out, let me know. If you have any more details on that and that, let me know. Um, a lot of the parts are not expensive, but you know, they are. The op amps are on the input stage. The rest of it's pedestrian. Uh, I mean, pedestrian. I just mean like a walk in the park. It's not complicated stuff. There's. I don't think there's anything I missed. I think it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I used to buy these actually from a crowd in New South Wales. Can't think of their name right now. Um, Yeah, I haven't bought any for a while though. But like I say, years ago I used to make up switch mode power supplies, and I used to get all the stuff from this crowd in New South. Um, God, the name escapes me. But anyway, all good fun. Uh, these are probably Philips, I think. I think they're Philips. Not 100% sure, but Philips make a lot of stuff like that. Cube make a lot of stuff like that as well. Anyway, that's enough yabba catches.